Now this is something that I, and probably you as well, if you're a viewer of this channel, might have been interested to sort of delve into for quite a while. And this is, see if you recognise it, this is a 1974 Eastern Time Limited aluminium 66 movement. And this is from the Woody Woodpecker Woody's Cafe clock, which is here. And yeah, I've been thinking about how to get into this for a while. The main good things about it are these removable nuts, which probably mean I can take this apart and service it. But there are a few sort of complications. For example, the glued-in hairspring, which I'm really not a fan of. And the overall sort of construction of it. Got pressed on knobs that we'll need to pull off. And being made of aluminium means it's very soft and it's easy to bend. So it's alright now, because when I get it apart I can always straighten it out again. But as I put it back together again, I'm going to be very careful not to accidentally bend any of the plates, because that might mean it won't be able to run. So with that said, and that out of the way, I think may as well just try and get into this now, because I've been wanting to for a while. It's been there, sitting there, but haven't been really feeling like recording much until now. So where's me? There it is. I think we'll try and get this hairspring out. Now, I've really never been a fan of these. The Westclox Style 8 movements, Baby Ben and the Big Ben and all that stuff at the time, also had a glued-in hairspring like this. And yeah, you can either use some sort of alcohol to remove them, although what I do is I usually just chip it away like that, because then it just comes off in a big lump. It's easier to clean up, provided you don't kink the hairspring whilst doing so, like that. But yeah, I'm sort of tempted even to replace this with a tapered wedge, like the 66s made here had, the earlier ones, because you know, this is from 74, so it's pretty late, very late for a 66. It's past the Western production. They were diverting it to Hong Kong at this point. I'll just get my tweezers, and we should be able, oh yeah, you can see the end of it there. It'll focus. You can see the end of it. It's got this sort of crusty bit on it, so I can just remove that like that. And at this point you can think it probably would have been better to use some sort of alcohol, but it's alright, we're here now, and it's still a tackleable situation. There we go. I think we got it. Hopefully I didn't bend that too much. He says completely bending it. I'll push it through the back. Yeah, there we go. Alright, now it's through and it's past the hardest part. So you might be thinking, wait, I don't have that kind of glue that they used in Hong Kong back in 1974. How am I going to reattach that hairspring? Well, you could either use a tapered wedge, which these movements originally had in their earlier forms, or you can use what I use, which is, and I can't find it right now with my bare eyes, it is nail varnish. And nail varnish does a really good job of gluing a hairspring in, because once it's dry and it's on such a small amount, then it is a really good fixative for hairsprings. So I'm going to use that, and I'll have that on recorded as well, just to show what I did, because I've been doing that for a while. Not on these movements, I haven't really done much with these until now, but with a Style 8 movement, with the glued-in hairspring, I do use nail varnish to reattach the hairspring, and it's always worked very, very well. I've actually got somewhere, I think it's up here, I've actually got a movement, there we go, which I have used thing. Now, the problem with this is that hairspring's not original, and I didn't find out till it was too late, and I would already put it back together again, but this is a good parts movement anyway. Yeah, that hairspring, I didn't put that on there, that is off something else, and it's far too thick. But as you can see, it's held in with pink nail varnish, which I have a little bottle of. Maybe you've been seeing it around, I don't know. But yeah, this is a good parts movement. It's not off any clock, I got it a loose movement to have for parts, but yeah. Looks like that one's going to have to be for parts now, because the hairsprings in those easily get tangled up. So yeah, we got a 2-spoke balance wheel, which is quite interesting to see. Don't think I've ever seen a 2-spoke balance wheel in one of these movements before. In many movements, I think the only 2-spoke balance wheel I've ever seen is in a Style 7 Baby Ben. Unless I'm mistaken, I might have seen one somewhere else as well. But yeah, look at that. Quite a nice... much sleeker, I think. So what's next? Well, the spring's already let down based on the fact that they sprung out of their original positions. So I think we should be okay to just undo these nuts. Oh no, wait, we need to take the knobs off, don't we? Alright, so bearing in mind this is here, and I do not want to bend that, because if I bend that, that's over. I will use these pliers to start off with. I think I'll start with the time knob. Can I use the single plier method? Oh, I can. Okay, that came off really well. Yes, you can use the single plier method. Can I use the single plier method, however, on the alarm knob, which is usually the trickier one? Oh, and for some reason that was very easy. Okay, well there's a spring in there I need to keep an eye out for. A spring, a washer. I better keep this all documented by the way I'm laying it out on the table. On this cardboard sheet. And then maybe I can... Yeah, this just comes out. Okay, that was a lot simpler than I envisaged. And why is that wonky? I can sort that out, hopefully. What's next? I think that's it. I think I can just get this open now. So we have very nice brass nuts on the pillars here. That's a stiff one. That's for the alarm. And it looks like we have washers underneath the nuts. Yeah, no, is there a washer under there? No, there isn't. There's no washer there, that's just a really weirdly made nut with a little lip on it. Okay, makes it a bit easier. And we have all our usual 66 stuff, like our trip spring, our bell, which in this case is really awful. They've just used the power of bent metal to hold it on, and it really hasn't lasted. Look at that. I'm going to try and see if I can reattach that so it's a bit firmer, but I don't know if I have much luck, to be honest, because very awkward to do. Because I remember trying that before with one of my original equities, and that had the same problem where the bell was all jinkly like that, and I could never get it firmer than it was originally, so I'm probably not going to touch it, to be honest. It was just it just wouldn't, I couldn't find a good position to hammer it down in without bending everything else up. And so look at that. I was never expecting to see this movement in parts. I always thought these were riveted together and that I wasn't able to undo them, but yeah, if you've got a Woody Woodpecker clock and you think, oh, that's just got a rubbish riveted together aluminium movement in it, hold up. This is actually serviceable, at least to some extent. By the looks of it, the escape wheel and pallet in here look almost like they're exactly the same construction as the 66. Can I get one? Probably got one in here. So this is a Western Westclox on the left, and our Hong Kong one on the right, and slightly different. The pinion pins are longer in the Hong Kong one, and it's less conical, but otherwise it's It's the same. The teeth are the same. Oop, don't want to mix them up. Can I find a pallet? Aha. Here we go. This also looks almost identical. I might even say it is identical. How interesting. So I don't know why, but those two particular parts are the only parts in the whole movement that haven't really been altered by time. Why is this not focusing? There we go. And we have our famous long pallet pivot, which means animated alarm clock. And yeah, there can't be many of these around. There probably is a way, because there usually is, because these are made of some sort of, I think they're called Babbitt metal, and over time they can actually sort of expand and contract and cause the pivot wire to actually move in and out. Now if you can do that on a regular 66 pallet here, you can slip that out and put a piece of longer wire in there. You could technically make one of these and therefore be able to make an animated 66. Probably get a print up a dial from the Vintage Alarm Clock Club on Discord. Get one of the dial scans of the Pixie. See what I'm doing there? A bit of advertising. Get one of the free dial scans that you can access. Print it out and stick it on your Good Morning or whatever, and get yourself a Pixie clock. That's forgery, really, but you know, you're never going to do it quite as well as Westclox are. So just for really your personal adventures, I suppose. So anyway, as we were trying to get these out, and yeah, it's just seeming like a pretty normal 66. We have the annoying ratchet clicks on here, which I do not miss. The Canadian one had this, but the Scottish ones did not. When I say Canadian one, I'm talking about the 1943 America, which was a cool clock, which I still have actually. It's still cool, it runs very well. But I still need to sort out the paint on that and to get a new dial. But yeah, that has these annoying finger clicks, which are, I mean, they're not impossible to let down. You need 3 screwdrivers at once and very good fingers, or something. But yeah, you can't really. They're not as easy to let down as the other ones, and therefore you probably have to do the remove the pallet method. But now I think about it, on a clock with a pivot, so as long as this for the pallet, you're going to have a real hard job removing this out of the movement. You might be able to go with the escape wheel instead, but that will really cause it to whiz. I don't know. Maybe you could try both. So I don't think there's any way to remove that. That is a riveted in regulator there. You could pop that off if you wanted to, but I wouldn't recommend it because you know, it might not go back in again. And that cannon pinion on there, the little brass one, probably could come off, but I might bend the aluminium plate, and it's not hard to clean around it. Interestingly, they've made the motion work smaller. I don't know why they did that. I mean, obviously cost saving was involved somehow, but not something you'd expect to see, making the actual motion work smaller. Because this is a Westclox original here on the left. You can see much larger minute wheel, which is that wheel there, than this Hong Kong one. So now this is in pieces, I will leave you in pieces, and I shall see you next episode, wherein you will find all of these parts cleansed using isopropyl alcohol, my new favourite, among other things, such as soapy water and warm water, and both combined you get warm soapy water. Do not lose this. This is the old dial thing, and this keeps the hour hand pressed up against the back. Otherwise it might go, and then the minute hand drops off, and then you'll be, so don't do that. This, do not squiffle. But yeah, I don't usually give advice in videos. Probably best if I didn't.